First and foremost, I'd like to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rukwak the honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well, and salutations to you, Akim, out there pushing the truth and sincerity, and to you, few Akim, Akwams, Salaki, that listen in silence as the scriptures say. So, this is an article from ABC 7, says Chicago rent keeps rising, higher costs of living straining many residents. And this is due to the inflation, right? It says Chicago residents are straining under higher costs of living as rent continues to rise each year. For Galewood residents, Ashley Golf, rent has increased by 26% in the last 3 years that she and her 2 children have lived in their apartment. And the last 3 years, what we basically have had a pandemic and came out of the pandemic. But I want to jump down to right here. It says the ABC 7 data team found that the median rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in Chicago is currently $1,385, up almost 24% compared to this time last year and 10% higher than the national median, right? So the average cost of a 2-bedroom apartment is $1,745. And in order to rent an apartment, first of all, you have to have the credit score, and they're requiring all renters to earn 3 times the wages of the rent, right? So let's see how much on average you will have to make in order to be approved for a 2-bedroom at 1745, right? And I got my calculator out, so don't worry about it. So this means on a monthly basis, you will have to bring in an income of $5,235. So you tell me how many Jakes making $5,235 a month. And that's just for a 2-bedroom. And not to mention that if you wanted to buy, right, you will have to be able to and remember, if you're buying in this economy, then you're paying a 7% what is that, APR, for lack of a better word. But hold on, let me keep reading. Compared to the same time last year, the price is 13% above the national median. And we can only imagine, the average price of a 1 to 2 bedroom in New York or California. From an average rent of $21.76 per month to $24.06, the Wrigleyville and Buena Park neighborhoods increased 10% from an average rent of $17.08 per month to $18.83. And this reminds me of what Klaus Schwab said, right? By the year 2030, you will own nothing and be happy. So let me grab a quick precept. And man, especially if you're getting a 1-bedroom at like 1348. Matter of fact, let me do that times 3. Because remember, you got to make 3 times the rent. And that don't account for all your other debt. Credit cards, car note, whatever the case may be. So just for a 1-bedroom, a single individual will have to bring in lawfully $4,000 a month. So that means your paycheck is $2,000 every 2 weeks, right? Now I'm not sure if that's before or after taxes, Because after taxes, then we know damn well you're not bringing home 4,000 every 2 weeks. You got child support or whatever the case may be. Student loan debts. That money start evaporating. But yeah, Klaus Schwab made a statement that you will own nothing and be happy. Matter of fact, I don't even have to get it. Yeah, I don't have to get it. I'm gonna pull out a precept. This is and please bear with me. This is Psalms 10 and 2. The wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined, right? So the point is, the wicked do it, pursue it, do it, persecute the poor, Salakia, and that's what they do, man. Because all while we were all locked down, you know, who was making money hand over fist? The wealthy, you know. Three major corporations was prospering was Amazon, Walmart, um, Tesla, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, those type of guys were making money hand over fist while small businesses were being shut down, at an unprecedented rate. Okay, third verse, for the wicked boasted in his heart desire and blesseth the covetous whom the Lord abhorred, right? Because he's greedy, you know. That's all these people care about. Greed, money, you know, domination, control. Fourth verse, the wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. God is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for his enemies, he puffeth at them. And just like how Biden did in Maui, you know. I can compare this to a kitchen fire, right? But the insurance companies backed out of rebuilding Maui because the whole point of it was so that they can come in and buy the land at a discount price. The corporations, you know. Okay, that um all right, I'm gonna keep reading. Sixth verse. He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. And that's how they believe. Obadiah tell you, um, he thinks that his kingdom would last forever, that it's gonna go on forever, that he gonna continue to do the shit that he's doing, right? And that's why the verse above that, two verses above that, when it said his countenance will not seek after the Most High, because he has a godlike complex. He don't think an end can come, right? They believe their kingdom would last forever, you know, because of their pride. But guess what? This same shit happened in Rome with the inflation and hyperinflation. And so let's get the definition of inflation. In economics, inflation is an increase in the money supply causing the consumer price index, CPI, to increase. When the general price level rises, each unit of currency buys fewer goods and services. And you can see that, right? Because it wasn't just the pandemic and the PPP loans and um, the relief funds and um, what else was it that they were giving out at the time? Um, because those loans, you have to buy that shit. You have to pay that shit back. You know, these people have been printing more money and putting more money in circulation for decades. That's why they're not gold standard anymore. It's backed by the petro. You know, the dollar has been devaluing. For decades. If you put $100,000 up in the '80s, right? As a matter of fact, let me see. Buying power in the '80s. Let's do a quick little research. Buying power in 1980 of $800,000. That's what we gonna do. 100,000. So in 1980, and this is based on the Google search. In 1980, $100,000 is the equivalent of $370,000 today. You know, so I'm quite sure of $370,000 in the '80s, right? Let's see. Let's see Mercedes Benz, right? Let's see how much a Benz price was. Classic 1980s Mercedes model. We'll get down to it. Okay, those are just coupons. Now we're looking for the price. Bear with me. Okay, how much did a Benz cost in 1981? Okay, perfect. 25,000, right? For a four-door, 300 diesel sedan, 29,000 for two-door CD, right? Right. So 34, we're gonna say 35,000. Turbo diesel sedan. Okay, they giving me different numbers. Let me see. Let me see. All right. Let's see right here. Let's check this out. All right. Let's see. See if I could zoom in on that. Specifications. Okay. Okay. Standard. All right. Mercedes-Benz suggested advertised delivered price at port. Okay, those are delivered prices. Okay, okay. Price do not include inland transportation, state and local taxes, but confirm current prices with dealer. Okay, so the highest was the 450 SLC coupe automatic, and it was $42,000, right? So in 1980, $100,000 today, you could have got a good Benz, the top of the line Benz for $42,000, right? Bear with me. Bear with me. And the average home sold for $47,000, right? So $90,000, right? And you would have spent roughly $90,000 to $100,000 on a car and a home, and still had over a $250,000 left over with $100,000. Okay, Salakia. You would have still at least had you'd have had the buying power of $370,000 then. I mean, I'm confusing myself. You would have still had $10,000 left over, right? Which is equivalent to today, you know, if you'd had $370,000, right? $370,000. Um, you can get a Benz and a home, right? But if you would have saved, the point I'm trying to make is, and Salakia for the confusion, the point I'm trying to make is that if you would have buried that $100,000 from the '80s and saved it up until today, you would barely even just get a fucking car with $100,000. That's the point I'm trying to make, right? To show you the devalue, the depreciation of the dollar over the time, right? Yeah, so I, you know, but that's neither here nor there, right? But this same thing has happened in Rome, right? The devalue of the money over a period of time. Hyper Hyperinflation in the Roman Empire and its influence on the collapse of Rome. And that's what's happening here. This place is on the brink of collapsing. Let me jump down real quick. Rome's currency, the silver denarius. Rome's economic struggles began with the problem of its regional currency, the Roman denarius. The silver denarius was implemented and produced as national currency of Rome starting as early as 211. Minted all the way until the middle of the 3rd century CE, Common Era, until it was replaced by the Antonianus, a temporary currency instated by Roman Emperor Caracalla 188 CE 217 CE to help curb the hyperinflation of the silver denarius, right? All right, let me jump down. Okay, well, I'm going to start right here. Because of a finite supply of silver and precious metals entering the empire, Rome economic activities was limited to the number of denarii in circulation. Because there was a small circulation of denarii in the beginning decades of its conception, the denarius could not successfully be used as a medium of exchange or currency because there just wasn't enough of the currency to go around, right? So what they do, they started printing more money, circulating more money. Let me jump down to the initial dilution of the denarius. However, Roman officials found an early workaround to this problem if they could decrease the purity of the denarius by particularly making them with cheaper, less expensive metals. They could afford to mint more of the coins at the same price and value as the original 100% silver coins. And that's where the dollar came in at, right? Because you used to have real silver dollars, right? But you had to go and get a certificate, which was the dollar, you know, a note saying that this is how much silver you had, right? But they know the dollar is not backed by gold. You can't trade your dollar in and go get silver anymore, right? So you have a much cheaper version because it's made by paper. Here in the Roman Empire, they use less expensive metals. It's the same shit. They couldn't afford to mint more of the coins at the same price and value as the original 100%. They could afford to mint more of the coins at the same price and value as the original 100% silver coins. The Romans believe they have discovered the key to all of their problems by decreasing the initial purity of the denarius from 4.5 grams of silver, pure silver, 100% silver, to a lower purity. And that's what America done with the paper money. They decreased the purity of the actual economics. And it's still decreasing, especially with the inflation. The Romans mint much more coins and increased the supply and circulation of their prized currency. This allowed the emperors and government to finance their projects as well as improve of the circulation and supply of the coin, making it ample and available enough for economic activities in Rome. Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna read um, much more of that because you can get the understanding, right? And 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 that draws a parallel up until today. But see, that was the collapse of Rome, right? And the same thing is gonna happen